Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.
It's time to get educated on your Second Amendment right. It's time to get locked and loaded with Gun Sports Radio. Your hosts, Dave Stahl and Lance Pelkey, will teach you everything there is to know about firearms, self-defense, and the laws that affect your American right to own and bear arms. Now, here's your host, Dave Stahl and Lance Pelkey.
I love that song. That's why I let it hang just a little bit.
Love it, baby.
Absolutely. Hey, folks, you're listening to Gun Sports Radio right here on FM 96.1 AM 1170.
On a Mother's Day.
Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of the above.
That's right.
Happy Mother's Day to all the great mothers out there. I'm not going to talk about the bad ones because they don't deserve a flower.
Mothers.
Right?
Is there such a thing as a bad mom?
No, probably.
That's a whole other show.
Yeah, that's a whole other show. You got to pay for money for that one. This show is brought to you by The Gun Range San Diego, located at 7853 Balboa Avenue. Those guys and girls are open 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and I'll bet you they're open today. What do you think?
They are definitely open today. I know yesterday I picked up my personal protection rounds from there. So, yep, they're definitely open today. Get down there.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I just got a text from Hannah. She just passed her FSC, and she's picking up her Glock on Friday.
All right. Big shout out to Hannah.
She won that at Gun Prom, and that's brought to you by the San Diego County gun owners, folks. And if you didn't make it to the Gun Prom, you got to go next year because I got a feeling everything's going to be bigger and better because I'm not letting Schwartz sit back on his laurels. He's got to get his tail in gear now.
That's right. My laurels are already.
No, that's right. She's working super hard, isn't she?
Yeah, your laurels.
My laurels are still sore, but already working hard.
Hey, who you got on the line?
An awesome guest, very special guest. Marco is a member of ours. He's a 10-ring member. He's an extremely hardworking guy. He's been a very active member of San Diego County gun owners. He's done a lot of really great things, and he has a very exciting announcement for us as far as public office. So, Marco, are you there? Marco Cisneros, are you there?
Marco to Earth. Are you there?
Hello?
Ah, there
Marco,
he is.
There you are, man.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
Fantastic.
Living the dream, my friend. Living the dream. Even in California, living the dream.
So, Marco, I just built it up and talked about a very exciting announcement, a decision that you've made and something that you're doing. Why don't you tell everybody what you've decided to do?
Alrighty. So I've actually decided to challenge the current incumbent for the San Diego Unified School District School Board Seat D. He has been running unchallenged since 2008, and I think it's about time we step it up and start fighting for the community, which is exactly what I plan to do. And once I win election, I want to start planning to fight for the future of the community because he hasn't been doing so.
That's awesome. So you're running for San Diego County or San Diego Unified School Board, right?
Wow.
Yeah, San Diego Unified School District School Board, Seat D.
Congratulations.
So what do you hope to accomplish by getting into office?
So what I want to do is I want to focus on three things. So I really want to rethink the path of the district. I want to focus on the safety of our students at schools. And then I want to focus on a better future for them because currently those three things I feel are the necessary steps we need to take in order to have a successful future for our future generations.
And when you talk about the community and making a better community and doing things for the community, you're not just, these aren't just hollow statements that you make. You actually get involved in your community. First off, what community do you live in? Whereabouts in the county do you live in?
So I live in Memorial. It's a small community just outside of San Diego. The area is more generally known as Logan Heights.
Logan Heights, okay.
So that's my specific area.
And tell them what happened, about a year ago in Logan Heights, or maybe a couple years ago in Logan Heights that really got you involved even more so than you already were in the community.
So there was actually a recent and within the past few years, there's been a recent uptick in the crime in the area. And then the problem was that there was a few groups that were organizing politically, basically demanding that the government strip us of our rights. what I mean by that is strip us of our Second Amendment right.
Mm-hmm.
So that started being an increase in my community when they started leaning more towards give us your guns kind of stereotype, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of felt for my community because it started heading in that direction. So I thought it was about time I started getting involved, start getting active, and start advocating for the rights of all citizens and all people who reside in the community.
Well, you also the homeless issue that was going on. Talk a little bit about that and what you did.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see. So that specific issue. So there was a homeless storage facility put in my neighborhood, District 8 of San Diego. And so what they were trying to do was they were trying to put a homeless storage facility there. They ended up doing it, and they also basically didn't really give the community a choice. They put it a block away from one of our local churches, which is also a school to children. And that was already a problem in and of itself because it caused an uptick in crime and a lot of litter of needles and trash and human waste. And that kind of really upset myself and a bunch of other residents. So we formed a neighborhood council because we had never had one really before. So it's called the Greater Logan Heights Neighborhood Council. We started that, and it represents all the communities south of the 94 and west of the 15 all the way out to the Bay.
So you're putting your money where your mouth is, and you said, hey, look, this isn't right. They're just dumping on my community. You put together a board and showed some real leadership and actually met with, I think, just every one of the San Diego City Council members, didn't you?
Yes, that is correct. I've met with 8 out of 9 of them already. I'm still trying to get a meeting with one more of them, and I also want to make the rounds again and kind of just recheck in with them and all that.
Which one haven't you met with yet?
With Councilmember Kersey.
Ah, come on, Mark. What's going on? What's the holdup? How come you haven't met with him yet?
Sorry, not Kersey. It was Councilmember Kate. My bad. Oh. I actually just recently met with Kersey.
Okay, yeah. All right, good. All right, Councilmember Kate. All right, well, we can make that happen. He's a friend of the show.
Guy.
Very good guy. So this is fantastic. I really commend. I mean, you truly are a leader. And listeners may remember you from just a few weeks ago. You got yourself. You called in a few weeks ago, about a month ago or so. You got yourself a CCW about a year ago through help with San Diego County Gun Owners, which you're a proud member of, and then actually had to. It saved your bacon while you were out working on the streets in your neighborhood. You didn't actually have to use the firearm, but you did have to pull it, and which stopped an attack, right?
Yes, sir. That is correct. So I was on here a few weeks ago. I believe it was almost a little bit over a month ago, and I was basically talking about a situation where I was out in my community. Actually, I was out in Chula Vista, and I was selling waters and sodas in order to start my own business, and so happened that a homeless individual approached me, tried to stab me, and I had to draw my firearm.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Horrible.
It's crazy, yeah.
So was he surprised? Did his eyes get as big around as truck wheels?
Yeah. So basically he was about, I want to say 3 yards away from me. He lunged at me. And then when he lunged at me, I drew my firearm and stepped away from him. And then, yeah, he looked like a deer in headlights right away.
Oh.
He kind of froze for a second, and then he started walking backwards and trying to, move away out of the line of fire. But I kept moving it on. I kept my line of fire on him.
Oh, good for you.
I was just ensuring that I was safe and everybody else around me was safe. And then he eventually just disappeared. He just ran away, and then the police showed up and all that.
Stop the threat.
See, that's what we need more of. That's the only way you're going to stop this insanity is by stepping up to the plate. And I applaud you for what you did.
It's funny because actually when I was going through the CCW process, one of the clerks actually told me that I was too young. I wouldn't get a CCW because of my age, and I only think back and imagine if she was right, then I might not be here today, or I might be hospitalized or something,
Yeah.
Well, you've stepped up to the plate. You've stepped up to the plate in a lot of ways, with the leadership and community, and with Second Amendment activism, and now with the school board. And I can't tell you how much I respect you, and we want to support you. So how do gun owners out there? A lot of gun owners out there are listening, and they're said to themselves over and over again that no politicians care about the Second Amendment, and there's nothing they could do, and the city of San Diego's lost, and the school boards are horrible, and rah 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 rah. What can they do to help you? How do they find you? What can they do to help you? What's your website? Give us some information.
Alrighty, perfect. So there's actually a few things. First, you can start off by going to marcoforschoolboard.com. And on there you can get to know me.
MarcoForSchoolboard.com. Gotcha.
Yeah. MarcoForSchoolboard.com.
Gotcha.
To be more specific. But yeah, so you can go over there. You can read a little bit more about me, kind of the 3 issues I want to focus on. And also you can get to know a little bit about my opponent and how he has been unsuccessful in helping the community. And then you can also volunteer for me. You can help me walk door to door. I've been doing it every time I get the chance after work, after school. I'm out there in my community walking door to door, kind of just talking to everyone. But one man can't do it alone.
That's true. So, that should be your motto. And Marco, we can't wait to help you more and support you. Can't tell you how much I appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much. Marco for School Board, Marco Cisneros. Reach out to him and help him.
Yeah,
please.
and then also, lastly, you guys can just go on there, and if you guys can spare $5, $10, go ahead and donate to my campaign.
You got it.
As we all know, in politics, you can't really do much without money.
That's unfortunate, but yeah, you're absolutely correct. All right, buddy, thank you very much, folks. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170, The Answer. Folks, hey, welcome back. Gun Sports Radio right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170. We are The Answer. Hey, folks, you heard us tell you how easily installing a Cali key is, well, and how it makes your AR rifle California legal in recognition of the recent gun law changes. Those law changes can put the unknowing owner of an AR-15 or AR-10 on the wrong side of the law. If you want your AR to keep it pistol grip, telescoping stock, foregrip, and still have a detachable magazine, check out Cali Key. Cali Key is a cost-effective, easy solution that will allow you to keep your AR compliant and future-proof your AR from all those horrible and new California gun laws. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford with Cali Key. Hey, and if Lance and Michael can install it, you can too.
That's
Go to
a fact, folks.
CaliKey.com, KALIKEY.com. KALIKEY.com. For some reason, Michael didn't say it was easy to install, so he has people. Laura does it. I know. Tell the truth.
It's easy for Laura to install.
That's right, because she's on top of it. Hey, do you or any of your family keep a taser, pepper spray, firearm, or other weapons for personal protection? Do you have or are you going to get a CCW? Well, if you're involved in an incident, what is your plan to pay for bail and expensive lawyer fee? Talk to the good folks at Firearm and Legal Protection. For less than $10 a month, you will have peace of mind knowing a 24-hour hotline and legal representation is waiting for you and your family. Go to firearmslegal.com, firearmslegal.com. And if you call them, 469-310-9100, thank them for supporting Gun Sports Radio. And hope you never get into a situation, but if you do, you might get John Dillon as your lawyer because he supports firearmslegal.com. Gasky Dillon and Balance LLP, that's where John Dillon hangs his shingle. And he's on the line right now. And you can go to cafirearmslaw.com or call him direct at 760-431-9501. How you doing there, Pops? You taking care of Mother?
Hey, yeah, celebrating Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all those moms out there. I hope your husbands take you shooting.
Yeah. Nice.
Man after my own heart.
Unfortunately, my wife didn't want to go shooting today, so we did other stuff, but it's still been a fun day.
Surprise, surprise. So what great, fabulous, smiley news do you have for us today?
Well, I'm not going to give you any updates on legislation or anything like that today. I wanted to do a quick reminder and then also discuss a topic that we haven't really discussed in a long time, and something that people are shocked by almost every time they go in to buy a firearm. So the quick reminder is for all of those who had the joy of participating in what's been called California Freedom Week, where you were able to buy high-capacity magazines, this is my friendly reminder that if you have a fixed magazine rifle or pistol that uses a fixed magazine so that it's not considered an assault weapon, you cannot use your high-capacity magazines in a fixed magazine firearm. Because if it has a fixed magazine and it has the capability of holding more than 10 rounds in a magazine, then it's an assault weapon. So I know a lot of people, they have these fixed magazine rifles and pistols, but you can't use high cap mags in those. If you're going to use the high cap mags, have a featureless rifle.
So what if your AR has a Cali key? If you have a Cali key on your AR and that's what makes it legal, are you able to use normal capacity mags?
Totally fine. There's no issue with using the high capacity magazine on a bolt action.
There's another reason to get a Cali key right there. That should be in the commercial, I think.
Yes, it should. Rewrite that, would you say?
Yep, someone needs to do that.
So that's just a reminder, like I said, people got really excited and they ran home to, use their newly legally acquired magazine. Just make sure you're not using it in a fixed magazine rifle or pistol, because you don't want to get yourself into trouble. And a lot of people just were not aware of that when this all happened, and it was a whirlwind. So I thought we'd get that reminder out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is what I said that some people are shocked by every time they go into a gun store is the California handgun roster, which was created under the California Unsafe Handgun Act, which requires that any semi-automatic pistol or revolver sold in California from a dealer needs to be listed on the certified list of handguns. And you can go on the DOJ website, DOJ firearms website, and they have their list of certified handguns. Basically, according to the state of California, if a gun is not listed on this list, it's unsafe. And if it is, it magically is safe. But because of that, there's a lot of problems that come with this roster, and one of the main things is no new guns can be added to the roster, and it's been that way for a couple of years now, and that's due to the micro-stamping requirement, which is fictitious technology when it comes to firearms, in which they hoped you could microscopically engrave serial numbers on the firing pins and extractors on firearms that would stamp the casing of a cartridge with that serial number so they could track who shoots what if there's ever used in a crime. Now, that sounds great and just absolutely wonderful when you first hear about it. The fact is, though, that no one's ever been able to do it, and it doesn't work, and it doesn't exist. And our wonderful Kamala Harris was the one who certified this, that, oh, yes, this technology exists, and it's capable of being in use. That was years ago, and still we've never seen proof of concept even when it comes to microstamping.
So it's turned into a ban. It's turned into a de facto ban on pistols, and every year we lose more and more pistols that we're able to buy in California. Yes,
exactly. And this is the reason, because no new guns can be added unless they have microstamping. Now, microstamping doesn't exist. However, the guns that are on the list have to be renewed every year. And the manufacturers have to pay a fee every time. And if they don't renew, the gun will fall off the roster. Once it falls off the roster, it's magically unsafe again. And you can't sell it, or you can't buy it from a dealer anymore. And so over the last couple of years, the list of handguns that are okay to be purchased shrinks every year significantly. And it's been really interesting. Firearms Policy Coalition did a study on the roster, and they analyzed the list. And they found that at least a third of the guns that are listed are the exact same gun, just with an aesthetic difference. Like it's a black versus a green gun. It's the exact same Glock 19, but one's black and one's green. Really? Each one of those has to be certified safe and on the roster. If you want to get a different color gun, even if one of the same exact make and model is on the roster, if you have a different color, it doesn't matter. you can't buy it. And so there's actually very few unique firearms that are on this list, and that number gets smaller every year. So it is, in fact, a ban. It's a slow-acting ban to the point where, and this is a big problem, you have guns on the roster that are 30-year-old models. So, every year there's innovation in the firearms industry. New guns are made, new designs are created, some which are much safer than older designs. But none of that new technology and new safety technology built into the guns can be put on the roster because they don't have microstamping. So the great example here is in California, you can only buy a Generation 3 Glock. And that's at least 20 years old, that model or that generation. They're now on Generation 5 with Glocks, and I'm sure Generation 6 will be coming soon.
Sure.
So we're forced to buy old, outdated models because the state has effectively prohibited any new guns from being allowed to be sold in the state. Right. And that it truly is a problem when you think that, this is for safety of people. Well, no, it isn't. If you're prohibiting new technology and new safeties and new designs from being added to the roster, the state doesn't care about safety. It is truly a means of limiting the amount of firearms that can be sold in this state. Right. And eventually there will be no gun on the roster. So, but there is a little bit of hope. There is a lawsuit that challenges this. It's Pena v. Horan. It's actually, they applied for the U.S. Supreme Court to take on the case and review the case early of this year, and they submitted all their briefing for that. So there is a chance that the Supreme Court could take the case if they like it. And if that is the case, then we'll likely get a good decision. Unfortunately, the Ninth Circuit, they threw out the Constitution and any real constitutional analysis, and essentially their argument is as long as there's one gun available, it doesn't matter.
All right, so I got a question for you since I don't know where you were last week. So I won a 10/22 rifle at Gun Prom, thanks to San Diego County Gun Owners and Gunfighter Tactical.
Congratulations.
My question last week, since I live in Alpine, can I set up a couple of hay bales in my backyard and target practice?
So with that, you're going to have to specifically go and look at all the zoning regulations in your area, because it can be drastically different depending on where you are. You can be on one side of the street and zoning can allow it. You can be on the other side of the street and it can be prohibited. You got to look at your local ordinances, local zoning to figure that out. And that's a case-by-case basis.
Well, that's why I have a lawyer named John Dillon.
Put him on a retainer, baby.
Yeah, get on that program, son. Figure that thing out. I want to know by 5 o'clock today.
The county and the sheriff have a map. I'll see if I can dig it up.
I don't want them to know I bought a 20. I got a 22. Then they're going to come hunt me down.
No. They have a map that spells out where you
can and where you can't.
I'll see if I can dig that up.
All right. Well, I may have to move. All right, Gatsky, Dillon and Balance LLP. This is John Dillon, folks. You're not going to find a better gun lawyer than John Dillon. I'm telling you, you're not. Even if he does own a Tesla. Go to, I couldn't help myself. Go check him out, Gaskin, Dillon and Balance LLP, or go to cafirearmslaw.com. And if you don't have a computer, 760-431-9501. John, thank you a million, and go take care of the family. Take them out to dinner, do something, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good, guys.
All right, buddy. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We come back. Casey's on the line. He's working. Gun Range San Diego. I can hear the sweat hitting the ground as we speak. Right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170. The Answer. right, folks. Hey, welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170. The Answer. Hey, folks, you heard us tell you how easy it is to install a Cali key. Well, it'll also make your AR rifle California legal in recognition of recent gun law changes. Those law changes can put the unknowing owner of an AR or an AR-10 on the wrong side of the jail door. So if you want your AR to keep its pistol grip, telescoping stock, forward grip, and still have a detachable magazine, check out Cali Key. Go to Cali Key. Is cost-effective, easy solution that will allow you to keep your AR compliant and future-proof all your ARs from all these horrible California gun laws. Keep your entire collection intact at a price you can afford with Cali Key. Check out Cali Key at CaliKey.com, KaliKey.com. All right, this segment is brought to you by the Gun Range San Diego at 7853 Balboa Avenue, the Nordstroms of gun ranges. Open 7 days a week, 10 to 10. Go to thegunrangesandiego.com for more information. Here it is, Mother's Day, and guess who's there? Wildman Casey at the Gun Range San Diego. What are you up to, bud?
Just living the dream. We pretty slow this morning because everybody's out at brunch and having their morning get together with the family, and now everybody is coming in to shoot with Mom. So it's getting pretty busy.
Cool. So any Mother Day specials today that people might want to come in and flood the lobby?
Other than that, we don't have a wait right now. We're pretty open. That's a pretty good special time for a Sunday.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's keeping it busy in here. We're having a lot of moms come in, a lot of families, a lot of kids coming in. So keeping ourselves pretty busy in there. Make sure everybody is doing good on it, which we have. Us, we don't really ever have any issues, and if they are, they're kind of minor. We take care of it. So that's a good thing about our range is keeping so many RSOs in there that are so knowledgeable and personable, I guess you can say, with our guys. So that's the word.
And Casey, I was there Saturday. Picked up those Federal HST hollow points.
Very nice.
That's what I use.
Yeah,
very nice.
Baby.
Yeah, I showed up later that evening. Yeah. The Federal HST, their HSTs are excellent rounds. I like my critical duties just because I like the little polymer tips, but the HSTs, I run those in my 45, and I absolutely love them.
Nice.
Yeah, the HST is probably one of the better ones out there. When it comes to hollow points, they're all very good. It just really comes, other than RIP rounds or any of those gimmick knockoffs that whatever, I don't want to speak about those. But it really depends, shot placement. Because, if you can't really shoot, the hollow points aren't really going to be connecting your target, and it doesn't really matter.
Well,
so
also,
that's a good thing. It's making out.
Yeah, all those folks that are getting those concealed carries need to have, something for the concealed carry probably that has more punch.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's picked up. That's one of the more noticeable things is since the concealed carry has been loosened, we've had a lot more people coming in, asking about carry rounds and whatnot. And so that's why we keep such a large selection of hollow points. Because honestly, every gun's different. Some guns like a certain brand, some don't. Some like a certain weight to them. I know the smaller guns, I like to run a higher grain with them. It just makes them a little bit more comfortable to shoot. But it really comes down to the shooter and figure out what's going to work for you. So a lot of people have to understand, buy a box of each, shoot them, figure out which one's going to work for you, and then stick with that. And there's nothing wrong with changing them out down the road, but just make sure there's one that you're comfortable shooting and not going to flinch up when you're trying to shoot it.
So you're saying that it doesn't matter if it's a hollow point if you miss.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter if it's a hollow point or a ball or FMJ or wad cutter. It doesn't matter if you miss your target. You miss your target. That round is bye-bye, gone, null and void, see you later. It really comes down to your shot placement. That's what kind of a big thing. We always have people come in. It's like, oh, which is the best one? Well, it's not necessarily which one is the best one. It's the one that works for you comfortably and the one that you can train with and get good shot placement. That's the big kicker. People, they start understanding oh, yeah, it makes sense. If I miss my target completely, then there's no point to it,
Yep.
Well, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and then what comes down to your AR-15s. That's what we're going to talk about today is our good old ARs. I talk about pistols and shotguns and whatnot, but we haven't really dug into ARs. The two style we have out here, featureless, and then your fixed mag. Cali keys are good, juggernauts are good. The only downside that you have with those ones, if you have a malfunction, it's a little bit more tricky to adjust it and, deal with that. But again, if people want to keep all their features, that's the way to go. The kicker to that, though, is if you're running a fixed magazine, you can only use your 10-rounders. Can't use those high cap or standard capacity, excuse me. But yeah, you can only use those 10-rounders there. That's why I kind of prefer the featureless One, I like having my magazine release. Compensator, I'm fine with that. I don't shoot my AR indoors. It's still too loud. Yeah, it's fixed mag or fixed stock. It sucks. The grip wrap, you get used to it. I have a special one that has like a little thumb hold on it, so it makes it easier for me. But again, I mean, it's just the nature of the beast, what we have to deal with out here in California.
I found that those, you're talking about the thumb shelf that a couple of them do on the. I found that that's actually I made a world of difference. I had one of the old school wraps, and I switched it up with, well, I forget the manufacturer. Otherwise, I'm more than happy to say it. But they have that thumb shelf. Made a world of difference. You can absolutely grip your AR with that thumb shelf, almost as good as a good pistol grip.
It makes it pretty close to it. There's just a downside of these ones, like, you know, with the laws that we have to deal with. It honestly makes these firearms pretty, I wouldn't say pretty dangerous, but more prone to having accidents with it because you're not having a good purchase on your firearm. You know, you have your good front, you have your support hams going up on the rail, and you have a good grip on that. But your rear hand, if you go one-handed or anything like that, you really don't have that much purchase on it if you have a weak grip strength. So it's something that people have to understand and get used to. But that's the downside of California, you know.
Well, don't get me wrong. Every time I compliment one of the a compliance part, you almost I feel compelled to say, look, we shouldn't have to have any of this stuff. You know, I like an AR the way God intended, but you know, so every time I compliment a compliance part, just remember that I'm saying, for what it is. It's really good. It works really well for what it is. We shouldn't have to have this stuff. I got to tell you, every manufacturer I know, too, everybody that manufactures these compliance parts would gladly, go without, this income that they make from their compliance parts if they, if they didn't have to. You know what I mean? Like they would all say, hey, I wish I was irrelevant. I wish I didn't have to make these compliant parts. So.
Well, and a lot of time, it's like an embarrassing point. You're like, oh, we have all these newer shooters that come in, or people from other states, a lot of military that are newer here in California. You're like, what's up with that rifle there? I'm like, oh, it's California. You can't have a pistol grip because it's scary and helps you do bad things. And they're like, wow, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, yeah, well, just you wait, it gets worse.
I was on a trip to Alaska, and I went into a little shop in one of the just a little trinket shop, and the guy had an AR hanging on the wall, because that's normal there. And he, behind the counter, and I start chatting with him a little bit, and I tried to explain to him what we have to go through, just to have compliant ARs in California. And he looked at me like I had lobsters crawling out of my ears. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense at all. And trying to explain it, a lot of people, I remember a few years ago, somebody told me, they said to me, oh, I just have a normal, regular bullet button AR. And I thought, wait a minute, that's not normal or regular. Like, what happened? There's a whole kind of generation of gun owners that have gotten used to this stuff. But man, you explain it to somebody outside of the, back in the free America, and you realize just how ridiculous this stuff is. Now, it's necessary, and the people that are manufacturing it are fantastic, and they're saving our bacon so that we can own ARs, but it's still ridiculous.
Absolutely. I want to say it's a lesser of evils, but man, like how far is it going to go? And they're going to say there can be no pistol grip on your receiver whatsoever. You just kind of have to have your finger there floating and holding it like, oh, God, please don't let them do that. Cross my fingers, I'll get on board. But it should, that's the same thing when I have people coming in here like, hey, I just moved to California. I don't have my guns here yet. What do I got to do to make compliant? And I explain it to them, and they just look at me like, I'm speaking gibberish, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to keep them back at home then. I'm like, yeah, well, I wish we had the ability to do that, but this is home for a majority of us, and it's sad that that's how we have to deal with it, but hey, kudos to the companies that are helping it out as best they can, but it just comes down to it's like, how long are we going to have to deal with this?
I know. We're working hard. A listener just texted me, and it's Strike Industries that does that wrap with the thumb shelf. I'm not sure if any others do it, but it's Strike Industries. Thank you, Jay Medina.
Yeah, there's a Strike. I know Strike Industries does one. There's another company that I use. Can't remember. They actually don't make them anymore, but they had a surplus of them, so they sell them on eBay. But it's based off the Magpul Myad grip. So the Myad is their mission independent, adapting, whatever one. So it has different back straps that you can switch out. And they made a back strap that has a fin and a thumb rest and literally slides up on it, and it pins into place, and then you have your grip wrap. And then if you go out of state, you literally slide it down, put your back strap back on, and have a great day.
Nice.
Getting better.
Yeah, that's one I like to run. It keeps it comfy, but again, every time I shoot it, I'm just looking at it in disgust. Just like, oh, God.
It'll get better,
like
I promise.
My hand. Yeah, we're always hoping, but we'll see.
We have
especially with the mag things. It's with the mag law and how that went. That wasn't like a knock on the door. That was just straight up kicking the door and saying, "Hey, what's up? Here we go. Let's fix this."
Well, good news for everybody that's sick of these neutered ARs. We have a support group that meets 4 times a month here in San Diego called San Diego County Gun Owners. And we'll give you a piece of pizza and a hug, and we'll talk about how horrible these laws are. But more importantly, we're going to talk about how to get rid of them. So if you're interested, SanDiegoCountyGunOwners.com.
All right, buddy. Hey, thank you very much. Go to the Gun Range San Diego, the Gun Range San Diego for the best shooting in San Diego County. All right, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to FM 96.1 AM 1170. The Answer. Folks, welcome back to Gun Sports Radio. I'm Dave. He's Lance, and we got Michael, and we've got Mara.
We got Mara in the house.
That's right. Mara is in the house trying to keep this crazy crowd in line, but it's not working. Hey, do you or any of your family keep a taser, pepper spray, firearm, or other weapons for personal protection? Well, what are you going to do if you get pulled over, handcuffed, and thrown in the pokey? Who's going to pay for bail and expensive lawyer fees? Well, hey, if you join Firearms Legal Protection, be proactive. Do not be reactive. $10. You can't even buy lunch for $10. And these guys will hook you up with 24-hour a day, 7-day a week, total protection. That's Firearms Legal Protection. Go to firearmslegalprotection.com or call them at 844-357-9400. 844-357-9400. You don't want to be that guy saying, oh, man, I should have listened to Dave and Lance. I didn't.
Don't want to be that guy.
Proactive, not reactive. All right. We got a celebrity on the line all the way from the wet East Coast. Are you up to your ears in water? One day we talked to you, you're up to your ears in snow. Now you're probably up to your ears in water. And that would be Sam the Gunman. How you doing, buddy?
Great. How are you?
Good. How's the weather back there?
Soggy, like you said.
I know. I talked to my other co-host.
Foggy or soggy?
Yeah, he has this thing back there called weather that we don't have to
I know. About. We don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
So, what do we got for the boy?
All right. Are you ready?
Dun-dun-dun.
I hope so.
I think this is a hard one. This is kind of a hard one. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, man.
I know.
Yeah,
so
right.
Let's see how we do. This is Monique from San Diego. She writes in, and she wants to know, from what country did guns first appear around 1000 A.D.?
What?
Monique from San Diego. Thanks very much for the question.
I can hear the confidence in his voice. I'll bet he's going to. Okay, go ahead.
Actually, I'm really not confident, but I know gunpowder was invented in its very earliest forms in ancient China.
Go ahead.
They used it to make fireworks. They used it to make they actually made these sort of rocket-propelled arrow-type things. But I'm not sure whether or not they actually did create anything resembling a musket or like a conventional firearm. I do know that in the Middle Ages, Europeans started developing large cannons to break down castle walls in sieges, but I don't know how long it took them to make handheld guns. So my guess would be either the Chinese or the Turks.
Okay. In China, the earliest firearm was the fire lance, a black powder-filled tube attached to the end of a spear and used as a flamethrower, not to be confused with the Byzantine flamethrower. Shrapnel was sometimes placed in the barrel so that it would fly out together with flames. Kind of a really early version of a shotgun, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
Yeah, like a blunderbuss, I guess.
Kind of, yeah. She didn't talk about it. I didn't really research what would actually cause the spark, but yeah, it looks like the Chinese were taking a flamethrower to this place early on.
Probably a piece of match would be my guess.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Well, now you have it.
Yeah, how much do you know about what? Do you have any idea what the earliest handheld firearm would have been? Well, I guess this would have been it. But do you have any idea what the first, flintlock or anything like that would have been?
I don't know specifically. I don't know where. I don't know who first had the idea to make a very small cannon that a person could hold. So I couldn't really tell you, but that's how the idea came about. They didn't make handheld firearms and then scale them up to cannons. They scaled cannons down. In fact, our word handgun comes from an old German word, basically meaning hand cannon.
That kid is too smart.
Yeah, right? What would that word be? Like, not a German word.
I'm sure he knows that too. What's the German word?
I can spell it. I can't pronounce it very well. Okay. It would be HANDGONNE.
Oh, Handhund.
Handhund.
However you pronounce it, just be real angry.
Yeah, that's typical German. Yeah, just be real angry.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yeah, it means literally handgun, and I wouldn't want to face anyone down with a handheld cannon who's really angry.
So you're right about the Chinese and fire and in powder. They were the first to invent gunpowder. How did it get from China to Europe? Like, what were they importing it for, if not firearms? You have any idea?
I don't know what they were importing it for, but I know it came over on the Silk Road. People who were going to China would basically pick up anything they thought was interesting and that they could sell at a high price back in Europe.
Not even knowing what it is.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Or seeing a demonstration, maybe.
So sort of shiny, bobbly. Anybody will buy something shiny and bobbly, right? And then if it spits out a bullet, knocks you on your you-know-what, that'd be a good selling point.
It was a great selling point, which is why we're sitting here today.
Yeah, no kidding. Defending our Second Amendment rights with all the gusto we can muster, let me tell you. All right.
So what'd you do for your mom on Mother's Day, by the way?
Took her shooting.
No, she stayed at home. My dad and I got out of her hair, but I gave her a card and a box of Mike and Ike's because I know she likes them, but she'll never buy them for herself.
What a good son.
Yeah, that's good. Mike and Ike's. Getting out of her hair was probably the best thing you could have done.
Yeah, right, well, it's whatever mom wants, right? Hey, it's the best way to do it. I'm telling you, it works out just great. So.
And speaking of mom, I mean, Sam and his mom were just here last week.
Yeah.
And had to get on that late flight. What time did your flight leave out of San Diego, and what time did you finally get back to your house?
It left at, I want to say 10 p.m. local time, and we got back to our house at 7, roughly.
A.M.
Morning, yeah.
So you had to take a final? Did you have to take a final on, like, Wednesday or something?
Tuesday.
Yeah, you had to take a final on
Piece
Tuesday.
of cake. Did you max it?
I haven't gotten my grade back yet, but I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah,
that's the right answer.
We're talking to the right. we're talking one of the sharpest kids I've ever met.
That was the answer I always gave my parents. Oh, you didn't get the grade yet, but I feel real good about
it. Whether you do or not, right? Yeah, no kidding.
Although I'm sure his results are going to be better than any of the ones I got. So.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, buddy. Well, hey, thank you very much for calling in. We always enjoy chatting with you, and it was really super meeting you at Gun Prom. Hopefully we'll make this a yearly thing and bring you out again next year as well, and your mom.
Yeah, I'd love to, and I'm sure she would as well.
I'm sure, Sue. I mean, who can't? Who doesn't like San Diego? Come on.
Fabulous.
All right, buddy. Take care.
You too. Have a good night.
All right. Well, I just kind of want to chat a little bit about the Gun Prom. I know it's over with, but I know Lauren's doing all the work right now for next year. Mm-hmm. Michael's doing nothing, but, I mean, I know Laura's doing all the work for next year. Bigger and better.
Bigger and better. Yep.
Hey, and you got to go back to Town and Country, dude.
Yep.
All I can tell you I was blown away by the food. I was blown away by the help. I was blown away by the service, and the facility was large enough, not too big, not too small, to handle, over 600 people.
We had about 600 people. I think it could have handled even more.
Well, yeah, because it was so late. It was laid out really quite well. So have you done your tabulations yet?
We're still working on finalizing it, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to actually look at dropping prices and increasing attendance next year, because I think we have the facility to do it. They've been super good to us.
Yeah.
I think we have the interest, and I think we can pull it off financially.
And the prices weren't out of whack to begin with, but but that's giving back to the. I always tell people if Qualcomm and Petco Park would sell their hot dogs for $2 a hot dog, they'd have to order 10 more cases.
Right.
Selling it for $9 a hot dog, it's not so much. And I like the fact that you're kind of giving back to the community, but. I got to tell you, folks, if you've never been, you don't even have to be a gun enthusiast, but if you want to learn about the gun community and Second Amendment rights, just going there and the guest speakers that you had and the camaraderie and everybody getting along.
Possibly winning a gun.
Yeah. Hannah, our board op, who had never been to gun prom, won the very first Glock 26, I think.
Yeah, 26.
Glock 26.
So she's going through all her training, and it's such, so good.
It is, and where the money goes to is good. I mean,
where does the money go to?
We do a lot of things as an organization, which includes employees that work on Second Amendment issues, 7 days a week.
Right.
We do a lot of community organizing, which means bringing gun owners, off the couch, get them off the couch, get them involved, get them doing things. We do educational things like Not Me SD, which helps women, get a gun, get the training, get everything they need.
That's a great program.
But here's the big thing that we are looking to accomplish, and what we do is we support candidates like Marco at the beginning, guys that are running in these local offices who want to be a positive impact on your Second Amendment rights. So supporting those guys, making sure they have the volunteers and the financial means to get elected, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, it's huge.
Absolutely. Hey, folks, before we go, we just really, really want to thank our sponsors and our listeners, especially San Diego County gun owners. Go to SanDiegoCountyGunOwners.com, throw $10 at him. You'll be totally thrilled. The GunRangeSanDiego.com. That should be the only range you go to for all your gun needs. CAFirearmsLaw.com. Hopefully you don't have to use John, but if you need a lawyer, he is it. Firearms Legal Protection, or FirearmsLegal.com. That's $10 a month, 24/7 protection. Cali Key, get those ARs legal. And we want to thank Tim. He's hanging in for Hannah, all the KCBQ folks, and all the advertisers here. Hey, spread the word. San Diego County gun owners, Gun Range San Diego. We'll listen to you next Saturday, but don't go anywhere. I got a great show coming up on Yak Radio with Dave Stahl.
Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.